What's up, everyone? My name is Candace Smith, and I wanted to discuss this news article and video that I ran across on YouTube watching CNN clips, child. But it was interesting to me because it was a young son that ended up turning in his father. He tried to turn his father in before the Capitol riots, but it didn't go as planned or whatever. And so he ended up calling them back after the riots happened and turning his father in. And they were interviewing the son. And it was just very interesting. Like, I want you all to check out this clip because the way this young man was speaking lets you know that he clearly understood what was going on, and he was able to really communicate very well why he made this decision. And when I first saw it, it just gave me a pain to my heart because I said, wow, what could he have been thinking to turn his father in? He must really did not believe him. I saw during that time, and during a lot of the protests and campaigning, a lot of young people was speaking out. A lot of teenagers and young adults were really going in on their parents on TikTok. They were calling them out for their racist behavior, and it was having a lot of negative effects on the parents' life. Like, it was some parents that ended up losing their jobs because their kids was speaking out on TikTok and it was going viral. And when those things happen, it really impacts that person's personal community, such as their family, the neighborhood, and their social structure that they live in. And so it can have some major effects. And I just found this whole entire article and news interview very interesting, how this family is really very divided because of the actions of one of the children. And they even include clips of the daughters in court, the mother speaking out after the father was sentenced. And this particular rioter was sentenced to more than anything that anybody else has been sentenced for these riots. And so I found that very interesting, and as well that he got the max time, and a lot of them were taking plea deals, but this man said, no, I don't want to do that. So y'all check out this clip and then I'll be right back.
Federal judge has sentenced a January 6th rioter to 7 years in prison, which is the longest sentence so far for participants in the Capitol insurrection. Sentencing for Guy Reffitt comes nearly 20 months after he brought a gun to the Capitol and threatened House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Back in March, a D.C. jury convicted Guy of 5 felonies. Here's how Reffitt's daughters reacted to his sentencing.
To mark my dad as this horrible person, and then having him prosecuted like this when somebody is maybe even able to get elected again, doesn't seem right to me.
Trump deserves life in prison if my father's in prison for this long.
Joining us now is Guy Reffitt's son, Jackson Reffitt. Jackson warned the FBI about his father both before and after the insurrection. Jackson, thank you so much for being with us this morning. How are you feeling? How are you reacting to this sentence?
I'm not happy at all, and I haven't been happy through this whole situation in my head. No one in my family has either. Um, but to say I'm surprised would be a lie. Every, everything my dad did, he's his own person, and his action has consequences. But I'm not happy at all.
Do you think he deserves this length of sentence?
Absolutely. He deserves some time, rather to for anything to rehabilitate for his mental health. He deserves a lot of safety nets. But yes, he does.
You have worries about him being in prison that long. You mentioned his mental health.
Absolutely. I mean, the prison system in this country can be pretty harsh for a lot of reasons, and to blame my dad's deteriorating mental health for a pretty bad effect on him, I'm not going to be surprised. But I mean, that's why I mentioned it in my letter.
Do you now, or have you throughout any of this process, had any second thoughts about turning him in?
Absolutely not. But it still bears the guilt that he is his own person and he has made his own choices, but he's also been pretty much manipulated into making those choices. And it pains me that he is still responsible for his actions.
Jackson, I want to talk about what this has done to your family. This is your mom speaking yesterday. I want to listen to this.
No matter if you're a liberal, if you're an independent, if you're a Republican, this is not okay. This is what this is political persecution. We are patriots. Ashley Babbitt was a patriot. My husband is a patriot. Roseanne Boylan was a patriot. And all I can say is that y'all can all go to hell and I'm going back to Texas.
What is your relationship like with your mom, with your sisters?
It's been really hard over the past couple years. The really polarizing differences in how we view our father and the people that are involved in communities such as what my father was in. But and it feels like we're each pulling on each string one way. But I don't view this as a political matter. This is more of what is morally correct and how to go about it. And what my father was manipulated into doing, and what he led to think was the best and only way to do it, he decided as an adult to make those choices. And whether my family views it any differently, it doesn't have an effect of the outcome. Yeah.
When you heard what your mom said there, what do you think about what she said?
I mean, realistically, this doesn't have a matter of a political opinion. What my father did is far from politics. This is completely off the rails violence. Whether it had a political motive at this point doesn't matter. It's more about what he did and who he did it for.
It seems like, your sister Peyton, listening to her, she feels kind of caught in the middle of this. She was there at the courthouse. She loves you. She made that clear yesterday. She thinks that your dad, if he's getting this time, that Trump should be getting some time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely. When she said that, I was flabbergasted. Not only was I so impressed with her, but she was so right. I mean, my dad was used as a puppet, and thousands of families have been. And whether you deny or agree with that, it's just it's facts at this point. It is disgusting to see that someone with practically money and social power can just get away with manipulating thousands of people just for whatever reason and have no outcome.
When we look at this sentence, which is the longest one we've seen so far for a January 6th participant, part of the reason was that your father carried a weapon. He did not enter the Capitol, but he also decided that he was going to trial instead of accepting a plea. And that obviously is something that would have potentially gotten him a longer sentence, more time in jail. It seemed in court that he regretted that a bit. But why do you think he wanted to do that initially? Why do you think he wanted to be an example?
I can't think of anything other than my own experience with my father, knowing that he is a narcissist and that he has a rather large ego. And it was horrible to see him make that decision, knowing that he could have gotten off much easier. And I feared the moment that he was offered that and he denied it, that he would deny it and try to fight it in court. And I knew it wasn't going to end up like anything other than it is right now.
Have you talked to him since he was arrested, and have you talked to him since he was sentenced?
Briefly, I had a really weird phone call with him that was really awkward. But yeah, it was. I talked to him once, and we did not talk about anything other than like Magic the Gathering because they have guards in prison. But nothing too serious. No.
So it was just a hello and talking about Magic the Gathering, and that was it.
Yes, it was. It was really weird. But I would love to talk to him again.
You would love to speak with him again. What would you say to him, Jackson?
I don't even know whether I don't want to engage with such deep emotions with him right now. It still is taking a lot of time. I still don't even know how to process right now in terms of what I'm actually feeling. But I would just talk about the most pointless stuff just to uh, go have a one-on-one with him at least a couple more times before he gets out.
Because he's your dad?
Absolutely. He's still my father. That doesn't justify anything that he's done, but I still have that attachment to him.
Jackson, thank you so much for taking the time with us this morning. We appreciate it.
So, y'all just got an opportunity to check out that news clip that was from CNN. I thought that whole thing was very interesting. I haven't been as in tuned into the hearings. I catch an article here and there, but that really stuck out to me because I didn't think about how all of these things are affecting family dynamics, because what I do recognize is that the younger generation thinks very differently than the older generation. We have a lot more information that was available to us. And so I just found a couple of things about it interesting. The difference between the daughters and the son response. The clip of the daughters outside the courtroom shows, how informed they are, versus the son. The son really seemed to have a clear understanding of politics, the justice system, family, community, and how it all works together, and how it can be very dangerous to just be isolated in your thinking. You're thinking on politics, you're thinking on patriotism. The fact that they're from Texas really says something, because each state kind of has its own culture, and Texas is one of those states that has a very strong patriotic culture that's very traditional, and they've been so isolated in that they have not been the melting pots of New York and California and Florida and different places where there's a lot of people that are around you that you get to see a lot of and hear about a lot of different experiences. There are still places in the United States that's so isolated. And then within each state, you have these sects or these certain communities where they're very insulated and in their thinking and understanding of different people and how we all are living in these United States together. And even the mother, just her response is, go to hell, I'm going back to Texas, because that allows her to go back into her world. These hearings was a douse of cold water on a lot of these people, because they were so one-minded in the way that they were thinking, that they really felt like they could overturn a system that's been in place for so long. Like, you can't. It will not be overturned with sticks and stones and anything like that. So you know, it was just very interesting to me, the entire video. So that's it. That's really all I had to say. Peace. I would love for you to purchase a subscription to your favorite QCP magazine today. Queen Connect Publishing magazines are out and available for print and digital. And there are a few ways that you can purchase your subscription. You can email Queen Connect Pub, QUEEN, Connect, CONNECT PUB @gmail.com and request a link to subscribe. Or you can go to any of our social media platforms and click on the link tree in the bio. That will take you to one of the ways that you can purchase a subscription. Sign up today and receive a free t-shirt, and then all you have to do is sit back and wait for your printed and digital copy of Queen Connect Publishing to come directly to you. Peace.